This is Nimasa This Week, the official mouthpiece for the Nigerian maritime sector. Hello and welcome. My name is Iretiola Doyle. Now, the President of Nigeria, Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, has commended the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program, an initiative of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. President Jonathan gave this commendation while addressing youth at an interactive program organized by the Nigerian Young Professional Forum in Lagos. Our Waterways correspondent, Amanda Akban, was present at this event and presents her report.
It was an evening to appreciate dignitaries, which included the governors of Delta and Ekiti states, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, Dr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblokaimi, were amongst the dignitaries who converged on the hall to witness the historic meeting of President Jonathan. Young Nigerians who ordinarily would have remained in the lower rung of the social strata are now enjoying the privileges that come with being professionals. They have all come from different fields to dine with the President of Nigeria. Amongst them was the first set of officers who emerged from the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP), an initiative of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. This was a day for the Nimasa management to sit back and savor the joy that comes with a success story called the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program. Nimasa has successfully produced a new crop of seafarers. This was last achieved in the 20th century during the days of the Nigerian National Shipping Line (NNSL). Nimasa presented Nigeria's new crop of seafarers made up of marine engineers and nautical scientists for the dinner with Mr. President. Clad in their sterling ceremonial uniforms, graduates of NSDP program from the South Tyneside University, John Moe University, and the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport, Egypt, took turn to receive the presidential handshake.
Send these pictures to the village.
In his remark during the event, President Goodluck Jonathan noted that his administration prioritized youth development to ensure that the Nigerian youths are adequately prepared to take up the challenge of leading Nigeria to greater heights.
If you invest in the young people, you are investing in the future of the country. We'll continue to invest in the young people in this great country to make sure that as a nation, we don't go backward, but rather we progress. You must prepare for the future of the country.
Speaking further, President Jonathan restated the commitment of his administration to sustain all programs that will potentially develop the Nigerian youths. When officers from the NSDP mounted the podium, Fabawara Raphael Olufemi, who graduated from the Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport, Egypt, now a nautical engineer and a licensed marine navigating officer of second mate, spoke on behalf of his colleagues.
I would also like to appreciate our goal-getter president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for making it possible for us to have a beautiful life, a beautiful future. Sir, I have to say that you have given us an opportunity that the world is awaiting. I wish to let you know that, sir, that as professionals in the aspect of maritime navigation and marine engineering, we are ready to go to the world and take charge of the maritime sector. We are ready to make Nigeria an envy of all heights in the maritime industry.
He spoke further on how the NSDP program transformed the lives of young Nigerians like him.
Without the vision of the president for this program, so many of us out there would not have had an opportunity to have a better life.
For the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblokaimi, investment in human capital will remain priority for the agency to catalyze geometric development of the Nigerian maritime sector. He noted that the current transformation in the maritime sector will be sustained.
This is the most wonderful moment we have ever had in the history of maritime for our country. Imagine the huge number of students or Nigerians that have been trained abroad. Over 2,500. It's unprecedented. No maritime administration anywhere in the world is doing this. Not even a quarter of what we are doing. And Nigeria, we have not done this kind of thing on behalf of Nigerians before, at least in this magnitude.
From all indications, it is clear that the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program has the potential to enhance the rapid development of the human component of the Nigerian maritime sector. Nimasa provided various windows of sponsorship, which included the partnership with state governments, partnership with interested individuals, and the window wholly sponsored by Nimasa. Over 2,500 young Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country are beneficiaries of the program.
The transformation in the maritime sector is unprecedented. It never happened this way before. You can see the array of trainings going on everywhere, all over the world. Over 2,000 people now in the maritime sector alone. And we can confidently have replacement for our aged seafarers in MPA and everywhere else. We can even export to other countries. They've come back, so some of them are back and they're doing very, very well. We are very proud of that.
We can afford to say it's a success story because of the support we got from Mr. President and the DG Nimasa. Because to train students is a lot of money. A lot of money, a lot of patience, a lot of sacrifice. And it wouldn't happen if the money is not there, no matter how much you want it to happen. And if the President did not graciously endorse the program, there will be no program today. So all kudos goes to the President.
A report on this presidential meeting with youths will not be complete without a mention of the highly entertaining performance by the young group from the riverine area of Akwa Ibom State. These young ones surely have a future where cruise business takes root in Nigeria.
Yes, you're still watching Nimasa this week, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that wonderful performance by those young upcoming entertainers. Nigeria truly has potential. Now, still talking about the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program, a delegation from Nimasa led by members of the Nigerian media went on a visit to the Philippines to interact firsthand with beneficiaries of the program in this country. Now, the delegation visited and inspected facilities at the University of Perpetual Help, the Lyceum of the Philippines University, and the University of Cebu. Now, I tell you, the tour of these universities was simply an eye-opener for most of the members of the media present on this tour. But you know what? I'll just simply let our head of studios, Razaki Zebe, who was a member of this delegation, lucky so-and-so, give you all the details in this report presented from our studios.
The federal government, led by Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR, has a special desire to grow the capacity of the Nigerian youths. It has been responsive to the development needs of youths via programs such as the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program, NSDP. The Nigerian Seafarers Development Program was initiated by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA with the aim to increase the participation of Nigerians in coastal and international trade and also contribute to the global pool of seafarers, a profession in high demand across the globe. Since the liquidation of the Nigerian National Shipping Line (NNSL), training of seafarers in Nigeria became moribund. While those trained by the NNSL were aging, there was no replacement, and apparently no government thought it wise enough to invest in encouraging and training young Nigerians to become seafarers until the Dr. Goodluck Jonathan-led federal government assumed office. In the past 4 years, and in line with the federal government's transformation agenda, Nimasa partnered some state governments to sponsor over 2,500 Nigerian youths from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to achieve and live their dreams of becoming seafarers. A delegation of officials of Nimasa led members of the media to the Philippines to see for themselves how the students were faring. The first port of call was the Nigerian embassy in Manila, where the ambassador, His Excellency Dr. Yemi Farumbi, noted that the NSDP has greatly enhanced the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and the Philippines.
I want to thank you for sending about 1,000 students here. You do not know what that had meant. It had meant that we had been able to promote people-to-people diplomacy better than the government-to-government diplomacy that we have always had here. You know what that means in terms of diplomacy? It means that you are promoting, you are cementing a relationship that for 54 years really had been dormant.
He then commended the management of Nimasa for providing the platform to attract foreign direct investment into the educational sector of the Nigerian maritime industry.
It has been possible for this embassy to encourage 3 universities to go to Nigeria, simply because they have seen what the Nigerian students are capable of doing, because of their capacity, because of their brilliance, because of their diligence, because of their ability, because of their resources.
When the delegation arrived at Perpetual Help University, the students were quick to demonstrate their newly acquired skills earned during their mandatory trainings. After the fire and water survival demonstration, a demonstration with the simulator was next. Young Nigerians taking charge of ship navigation. Having been exposed to these modern training facilities, the students were quick to express their gratitude to the federal government and Nimasa.
I'll use this golden opportunity to thank Nimasa and the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, for sponsoring us all the way from Nigeria to Philippines to study marine transportation and marine engineering. So I'll use that opportunity to thank them. We are very, very grateful.
I am also thanking you for promoting the youth of Nigeria and for bringing us to this great institution. Sir, I say thank you very much and God bless you.
It would have not been possible for people like, more especially people like me, who came from a very poor background, to even go to school.
I'm a living testimony to God's blessing that has come to me through the federal government of Nigeria via Nimasa. Thank you, Nimasa. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Thank you for making me somebody.
For the officials of the university, never before have they had such an experience like Nimasa and the Nigerian students are giving them.
Indeed, we are very grateful to Nimasa for bringing your students to our program. We truly hope that we will maintain not only our strong partnership, but also the friendship of our countries as well.
The delegation arrived at Lyceum of the Philippines University to a guard of honor mounted by the Nigerian students. The delegation was also conducted around facilities at the university, and after which the students noted that Nigerian government is the envy of other nations, and they are proud of being amongst the privileged few whose selection was purely based on merit.
I was actually studying at the Maritime School in Oron. Yeah, Maritime Academy Oron. When a friend of mine actually told me about the program, so I went, I wrote the exam at Wari. From there, I was called for an interview. After then, we waited and I was able to come here.
I just went to fill the form, and my uncle is working at the port, so he was able to inform me and tell me about the program.
I heard about it well. the information was well disseminated.
It was through a friend that I got to know, and I did all the hostels that were involved in it, and I am here today.
For a program like this, the need for it to have beneficiaries across all geopolitical zones of the country cannot be overemphasized. How has Nimasa ensured equality in spread across the nation? Malam Mohammed Sani is the head of Sevicom at Nimasa.
This is the policy of the nation. I mean, we look all over because the program started by first collaboration with the states, counterpart funding. States contribute, the agency contributes, so it has a national spread so far, right? Some states, virtually almost 20 states, although they have keyed into the program. So you can see that we have a wide spread so far about the implementation of the program. It's not restricted to one area.
Over 3 billion naira is earned annually by foreign seafarers working in Nigerian waters. This will be domesticated when Nigerians totally take over the industry. Graduates from the NSDP will also enhance the implementation of cabotage in Nigeria.
By the time you develop competent certified seafarers, they'll be able to man Nigerian registered vessels, and this is part of the objective, helping realizing the objective of the Cabotage Act and the local content.
The Nigerian Seafarers Development Program has seen to the transformation of lives of young Nigerians now studying such specialized programs as nautical sciences, marine engineering, maritime transport, and naval architecture in specialized and IMO-accredited institutions in the United Kingdom, India, Romania, Egypt, and the Philippines. The schools include the South Tyneside College and the John Moores University, both in the UK, Maritime University of Constanța, Romania, Arab Academy of Science, Technology and Maritime Transport, Alexandria, Egypt, Ahmed University, Chennai, India, University of Perpetual Help, University of Cebu, and the Lyceum of the Philippines University, all in the Philippines. At the moment, 93 young Nigerians are now qualified seafarers, and the sky is simply their stepping stone. For these ones still undergoing training in the Philippines, there is an assurance that Nimasa's commitment to growing the seafaring industry in Nigeria will only get better.
It's basically in line with the strategic objective of Mr. President, in line with his zeal and drive for building capacity, particularly among our teeming youths in Nigeria. And of course, in line with the strategic initiative as contained in the 4-point agenda of the Nigerian Maritime and Safety Agency, of which we have currently on board right now Dr. Ziakede Patrick Akpobolokemi as the Director General, who has pursued this strategic initiative with so much zeal and vigor and drive towards seeing its the realization of the objective of the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program. It's indeed a very, very laudable program which we must continue to drive forward.
In any way that we need support, I tell you that Mr. President has not failed in any way. He has been very supportive, and Mr. Patrick Akpobolokemi has never interfered, rather he gives you all the support you need.
Journalists who were part of the entourage of the schools did not mince words in commending the management of Nimasa for sourcing such training institutions to develop the capacity of young Nigerians.
I lack words to really describe what I have seen. If this kind of thing had happened in the last, let's say, 10 years, I don't know where we would have been today. So I give credit to the man on top. He has the heart.
Nigeria is a maritime nation. We need not to allow foreigners to take over the industry. It's a critical sector. This particular program is a gradual transformation in that sector. In the next 5-10 years' time, you'll begin to see the input of what this program is all about. You begin to see the hand of this student, the student of today, in that industry. It's a critical sector.
For almost 3 decades, there was a decay and death of seafarer training in the country. And that decay and death in the maritime sector in the area of seafarer development was revived
from this program organized by Nimasa? I mean the NSD program.
In upwards of 15 years, we've had this issue of lack of manpower. And the few ones we have are aged. And has been that need, that desire to actually have it filled so that we can drive our cabotage program. And so when this program came on board some years ago, it was well embraced. A welcome development, because if not, believe you me, we'll be forced to be importing seafarers.
It is clear that the Nigerian maritime sector is on the right course to ensure a total turnaround of the seafaring industry, and as stated by the media practitioners, Nimasa is under a management so focused that the Nigerian maritime sector will soon take over from other maritime nations. The thriving economy of the Philippines is anchored on the production and export of seafarers, who have over 20% of the barely 2 million seafarers across the world. Out of over $16 billion remittance from overseas Filipino workers annually, $7 billion comes from seafarers alone. According to the Chairman House Committee on Marine Transport, Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Nigeria is on the ascendancy in the seafaring profession.
And with this, I'm sure in a couple of years to come, we'll begin to look at the ways to surpass the Philippines in this all-important maritime sector. We're on our way to the top.
The seafarers training that Nimasa does undertake in conjunction with some of the state governments is very, very important, and we are very, very passionate about it.
We have the fact speaks for itself. You know, the host community, they have even gone beyond the limit to ensure that we get the best. And our students are upbeat. Some of the questions they ask, they are purely technical and academic. And it shows their zeal to excel. So we're happy and we're encouraged.
We will be very delighted some years down the line to come, in the next 5 years or a decade from now, to know that Nigeria will not only become the maritime hub of Africa, but will become a great feeder source for qualified personnel to work in the maritime sector. Then we can say we have competent hands to run our maritime industry, and the cabotage sector will become more vibrant.
With the investment in the maritime sector through the NSDP program, it is hoped that the transformation agenda of the Dr. Goodluck administration will transform the Nigerian maritime sector to a multi-million-dollar foreign exchange earner for the Nigerian economy. Like Malcolm X said, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. The Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan-led administration is preparing Nigerian youths for the tomorrow that will belong to them. This was the thrust of President Goodluck Jonathan while performing the groundbreaking ceremony of the Nigerian Maritime University, a project considered as a long-term solution to the dearth of seafarers in Nigeria.
The establishment of this maritime university here to relay, because the issue of manpower is key, and we believe that this is a good thing to help significantly in terms of producing the required manpower for this blue economy. And this university will be, I think, the second specialized university this government is establishing since we came on board.
Nimasa this week, the authoritative voice in the maritime sector.
And so we come to the end of this week's edition of our show. Now, we hope we kept you educated and informed. Now, please don't forget, this show is interactive. All you need to do is send an email to the address currently showing on your screen, and we will certainly get back to you. Now, safety and security have been our watchwords since the very beginning of the year, and let it remain so, especially during these times, not just on our motorways and airways, but also on our waterways. Once again, this is Iretiola Doyle signing off until next week. Goodbye.